most probably wouldn't get this, even those who know me quite well. But I've always had a real desire in my life for acceptance and relationship, not necessarily like romantically, but I think just in general. I think part of this is because I've always wanted to be something to someone, um, and as a result of this, I've often kind of sought to manipulate what people think of me in some way, shape, or form. Often, I think this is most commonly done anyway by me kind of closing up, and that's something maybe a little more obvious. Is I'll often, you know, be a fairly quiet guy just because I think partly because I inhibit myself and I don't. Maybe I'm fearful and I don't want people to see like what the real me is. And I've also jumped into relationships before, hastily romantic ones, and I've been hurt numerous times, and I've hurt somebody before. Taking a step back and seeing myself and how I've been acting and how I have acted, I guess, and how I still act sometimes, helps me see that I think the problem is very much internal. It's not external. It's something very much at the core. It's something that is in me. It's something is wrong with how I'm going out and I guess entering relationships or kind of being a part of relationships. I think the better I come to understand Christianity, the more I see that my relationships aren't what define me. The status and whatnot that I get from them is not um, ultimate. Isn't it's not what I find my fulfillment or my satisfaction in. That's always made sense to me. I was never a big fan of organized religion, which always seemed to say like, you need to whatever be good or be moral to earn God's love or God's forgiveness. But that never made sense on one part because I don't see love as conditional. I see love as something that's unconditional. Um, and in Christianity, biblically, we see that the perfect God does unconditionally love people. This was always appealing to me, I guess, because I always kind of believed in God in some sense. I always knew, or I always believed, I guess, in right and in wrong, good and evil. And I knew that in and out of relationships, I always, I never even, reached my own standards morally. Even when I knew what was right, I'd still often do what was wrong, whether it was for my own personal gain or whatever. But amidst, again, all my imperfections, knowing that there's a perfect God who would, come down to earth in human form in order to bridge that gap between myself and Him and enter into relationship with imperfect me, always and still to this day blows my mind. And, though I'm not perfect, um, the more I understand Christianity, the more I understand my relationship with God, um, the more I'm freed up to be what I ought to be and to relate to people in a way that I ought to relate to them. Um, to be a better son, friend, brother. I don't have to earn a status or I don't need people to see me a certain way because I know God sees me the way I truly am, and he's making me into what I ought to be as well, all the while. So yeah, my name is Corey, and I find acceptance and relationship in Jesus Christ.